There we go. That's how long it's been since I did this tour. There wasn't a microphone up there. All right. Hey, Miles. Well, Miles has already made his appearance.
Benny Goodman, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the torrid clarinet and the
There we
even
go.
torrid band who pervades assorted rhythms, all danceable, in the urban room of the Congress
This
Hotel.
wash band color is all wrong for this shirt.
And first of all, one of Irving Berlin's greatest hits, Blue Skies.
Well, I was way off there. I'm way off on a lot of things. I gotta get better. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Marita. Hey, Christy. Hey, Karen. Hey, Jean. And Chris and Assorted Cats. Hey, Ellen and Dawn. Hey, everybody. Hey, my dad is back behind me. Mom is over in the other room. Hey, Mary. Hey, Mona. It is, in fact, Mystericon Eve. Rev Mystericon. Hey, Shelby. Yeah. If I move a little, you can see. Ah, Laura, yeah, we'll look forward to see you tomorrow. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Sherry. It's going to be a packed weekend. It's going to be awesome. Hey, Uncle Dave. And Grandma Belle. Hey, Amy. Hey, Kendra. All right, I am set to. You know, I'm not ready for a good time travel pub crawl yet. I need a drink. Do I ever?
I'll entertain him.
Yeah, you go. Go for it.
I'll entertain while Adam's busy. Hello, everyone. Sharon and I'll see you all tomorrow and Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you all. Go say hi to everyone.
Hey, everybody. Christy, I'm actually having pumpkin spice whiskey tonight. Inaugurating the autumn season. It doesn't taste much like whiskey, but it is delicious. It's like a really good pumpkin pie flavor. Hey, Ellen, hope to see you next year, too. The rest of you, hit the share button, tell your friends. Numbers-wise, we're a bit behind last year, I think. We'll see. It's quite a thing. We got Mystericon all weekend, and then Tuesday and Wednesday the zoo tours start. Thursday I got a speech down in Springfield. Yeah, it's like I got to take things one night at a time. One event at a time. Look, you're going to be about 20 seconds delayed on things.
No, I couldn't get stuff out of there that
Go for it, yeah. I need to get some lighting in that liquor cabinet. I'm looking like motion sensor lights. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was planning on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of stuff wired up on that thing as it is, you know.
Yeah, but you've never stayed at Cassie Christie.
Yeah.
You had to have Luca come in with her phone and turn the lights off.
Oh, man, you got a heavy you got a switch for these things.
Yeah, oh, she has those same kind of.
Yeah. Hey, Katie. Hey, everybody.
I'm impressed by your blend here.
Yeah.
Promo with one of the bottles.
No, they sent it to me for participating in a Zoom class. A whiskey tasting class.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers with my half an orange soda.
Saturday night is a BYOB bus tour, but I trust everybody to behave reasonably well, okay?
Please,
Don't get me in trouble with the bus company.
Mom will be there and I will.
Right. All right, loud and clear in Uncle David's car. Hey, Stacy in Nevada. Cheers, Lori. Everybody excited about tomorrow? There's a waiting list. If you email me, I've got a small waiting list going for the 8 o'clock for the late tour. Whatever the days are, I'm one event at a time. Oh, haha. Hey, Libby. Hey, Lynn. Hey, flea that I just killed. Or bug or gnat or whatever the hell that thing was. I don't know. Invaded my territory anyway. John's looking forward to not going to school. That makes sense. I don't think anybody's noticed that this light is green now. But hey, Miguel. Hey, Lisa in Kenosha. Evening, everybody. Have you seen the moon tonight? It looks incredible. Giant moon. I'm gonna go check it out over the lake in a bit. Where I take my folks out to their hotel. Hey, Judy. Good to hear from you. The late bus tour is BYOB, Chris. First one's a no booze affair, and the ones later in October will be no booze affairs. I'm not going through these drunks on a bus ghost tours again. One of the great pleasures of not being a newbie in the field. But hey, we're gonna let Benny Goodman do one more tune.
They all loved those bastards when they played by Benny Goodman. And now another one just in the same vein. Rosetta.
Yeah. Kenosha peeps, there is a yard sale happening all weekend. That's awfully close to Chicago, though. You could be coming to Matericon. Well, Martin, if you pee your pants, that's on you. It is a time travel pub crawl. All right. Don't come crying to us if you pee your pants. Oh, thanks, Paul. I love these bats as well. Hey, hello, Amy. This is Benny playing live at the Congress Hotel, where we're going to be very shortly. And it's from the sound of it, it sounds to me like the Birmingham Room might have been at one time the Urban Room. We'll find out. It is also going to be Katie's bachelorette party. Buckingham Room. Yeah, Buckingham Room. That might have been. They've changed a lot of stuff. I know the Urban Room was down on the first floor someplace. The bar, the Elizabethan area of the bar looks about like it. Welcome along, one and all. We're just letting Benny Goodman finish up this tune, which he's only been playing since 1936. I see Detroit is kicking Green Bay's butt.
Music by Benny Goodman is being presented from the Joseph Urban Room of the Congress Hotel in...
All right, that's Benny wrapping up, and you know what that means. If Benny's done playing music, it is time for our music. So let us move on to the theme song.
Climb aboard, cause you don't know exactly where or when we'll go. Chicago 1893, or the Gilded Age in NYC. Blast off into outer space, drink till you're flat on your face. From the comfort of your home, so if you puke alone, one day we'll even find that place in France. And don't come crying to us if you pee your pants. Time travel pub crawl. Time travel pub crawl. Time travel pub crawl. Yeah!
Hey everybody, welcome once again to Time Travel Pub Crawls here on Mysterious Chicago Tours. I'm Adam Seltzer from Mysterious Chicago Tours. I've been a tour guide and historian here in Chicago for a good 20 years now. I got my parents in town tonight. They're hanging out around here. And of course, Miles, the cat, is right down here and washing his feet. So this weekend is Mystericon. There's a whole weekend packed full of tours. You can even meet Miles in person on Sunday morning. So we've got all kinds of stuff coming up. Yes, I will be in Springfield on Thursday at the big Illinois History Conference. I'm on some kind of a panel down there. I'm just going to be a quick in and out. I got too much to do on a Thursday. So, all right, welcome everybody. I'm Adam for Mysterious Chicago Tours. This is a time travel pub crawl. For time travel pub crawls, what we do is, when the pandemic started and nobody could go anywhere and we were starting to do virtual tours, I thought, I know, virtual pub crawl. And then I realized, hey, if it's virtual, we're not bound by time or space. We can go anywhere. We can go anytime. We can go to any bar in history. So that's what we've been doing. We've done a lot of these. This is the Labor Edition. Very good week for that. I feel like it's smelled very much in the news lately. However, what I realized this morning was I didn't make proper notes the one time that I did this route before a couple of years ago. So I've been busily trying to rebuild over the course of the day. We'll see how we goes, but let's, for those of you who don't know, we go around in 1915, they were digging a trench in the riverbed to lay some cables down, came upon the wreck of what appeared to be a full-size submarine that may have been down there for several decades. They called the thing the Fool Killer, put on a display on South State Street. It disappears from the record of the end of about 1917. But, well, we found it. It turns out it was in the couch tomb the whole time. And really, it's not just a submarine. It also goes through time and space. It slices, it dices, also makes julienne fries. So, once again, we are going to start out, in fact, heading down to Pullman, as seen here in ghostly form with a whole bunch of Mysterians at the first Mystericon a couple of years back. Let's zip away on through here. Ah! Ow. So here we are, down in the neighborhood of Pullman, once an independent town, a suburb of Chicago, lorded over by the old Hotel Florence, named after George Pullman's daughter. Old Man Pullman built a whole town for his workers. Now, as factory towns went, it must be said this was a really nice one. It was looked on as this grand progressive social experiment at the time, but eventually George Pullman took it too far. There were all these regulations about the code of conduct. This was the only place you could go to get a drink in Pullman, the Hotel Florence, and if you were just a regular worker, you wouldn't be getting served the drink. Eventually, Pullman decided to cut everybody's salaries in 1894 by about 30%, but didn't lower the rents on the apartments they were required to rent for him. This led to massive strikes. I'm just going to take a quick look in here. You can see that's the same fireplace that we were just at. So this led to massive strikes. It wasn't even just in Chicago. There was very nearly a whole general industrial shutdown around the entire country. The president had to bring in the troops against the objections of Governor Altgeld. So the Hotel Florence has now been closed for a long time, but here is an old bar. This is what it looked like on the inside. We came here on our very, very first time travel pub crawl several years ago now. And this is the drink that we learned at the time, the Very Far South Side. You take 2 ounces of whiskey, 1 ounce of simple syrup, 1 ounce of lime juice, and half an ounce of yellow chartreuse, and then a dash of bitters. We learned that from a bartender. Now, well, while we're in here, let's see if we can get that bartender to show back up again. Hey, remember us? You.
Oh, that's right, the time travelers. Welcome back.
Everything okay?
Can't be too careful these days. Hard to know who to trust.
Why, what's going on?
Maybe we should start with a drink. You remember our specialty, the Very Far South Side? You take 2 ounces of whiskey, 1 ounce each of simple syrup and lime juice, half an ounce of yellow chartreuse, if you got it, and top it off with a dash of Angostura bitters.
Got it, love it. We don't have any yellow chartreuse.
No one around here does these days. Not since Mr. Pullman cut everyone's salaries by a third. Not that they could drink here anyway. Old Pullman thinks that drink is the curse of the working class.
More like work is the curse of the drinking class, am I right?
I like the cut of your jib. You're all right. I'll let you in on a secret.
Yeah?
There's gonna be a strike.
A strike? Really?
Yep. We even got some guys who came down and taught us all a folk song. Call themselves the Dead Ringers.
Oh no.
Hum,
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 hum, come gather round children, it's high time you can, of the hero named Miles and the devil Pullman, Pullman,
Pullman,
Pullman. We'll march till we drop the gals and the fellas, we'll fight to the death or else fold like umbrella. Ella, ella, ella.
Ella,
Ella, Ella, Ella, so we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plan, but we have the power. Power. So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plan, but we have the power.
Brilliant.
They ain't much to look at, but they sure can sing.
Did you see a hero named Miles? Miles is on the ship here.
Mr. Pullman wouldn't like seeing a ship like that. It's not a train. You know how he hates competition.
We'll be careful.
You'll be dead. Wait. Do you smell onions? Strike breakers. They're coming. You better get out while you can.
You can always tell the Sprite Breakers if they got onions tied to their belt, which was the style at the time. We're going to get out while we can. I'm just going to say really quick, 49th Street, this elevated railroad track, is sometimes said to be haunted by a headless horseman who was killed in the Pullman strike back in the day. There was a decapitation, but it was just an accident, and it wasn't anywhere near right there, but I love a good headless horseman ghost. So let's get out of here really fast. The Strike Breakers are coming. Oh, okay, we're still on the south side. They're probably looking for us on the north side. So, really what we're going to do here is we're going to duck into a place where we can always wear disguises, right down here in what is now Bronzeville at 3353 State Street, the Cabin Inn. Back in the 1930s, this was the oddest show in town. We've covered this on a few other different things before, so many of you already know this story. The Cabin Inn was a black drag club back in the 1930s. And they always advertised themselves as the oddest place in town, the new and beautiful at their other location, the Cabin Inn, featuring the world's foremost female impersonators, such as Valda Gray and the breezy brevities of 1939. We can all sneak in here in costume. We can sneak in here in disguise. The strikebreakers will never find us here. Joan Crawford, Billy McAllister, Carol Lee, Frances D., Margaret Rich, Jimmy Barber, Buppy Davis, Frank Busby. Now, there's a song about this. Dick Barrow, who performed here as Sepia Mae West, did a whole song about A Night at the Cabin Inn, and miraculously, it actually survives. There's even one photograph of what it was like on the inside here. So see, it didn't destroy society back in the 1930s. So for our labor episode here, while we're hiding out, here's a band.
Hi, we're Mahaley's Grave. Hi, Chicago.
Hey, you're not supposed to know we're here, James.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, we are going to move on just a little bit here. It's blasting off back through time a little bit, but let's go back about another 80 years or so. They won't catch us back there. Back there a little ways. We are going to go up, just up the road here to Old Town, the place that is currently Corcoran's. But at this same location, it would have been what would have been really the far north side back in the day on Wells Street. There's a place called Kinkle's Saloon. This is supposedly a picture of it. I'm not sure I entirely believe that, but it was the kind of place that brought working men in with offers of free lunch back when this was a heavily German area. Now, in the 1950s, we elected a member of the Know Nothing Party, Levy Boone, a violently anti-immigrant party, who decided to shut down all of the beer gardens on Sundays, such as Henry Kinkle's Beer Saloon, Lager Beer Saloon. So they would meet up at this place to organize the protest against Mr. Levy Boone's horrible activity. The common story was that in the process of the riot, people got stuck on the Clark Street Bridge. This was an old-fashioned swinging turnaround bridge. The story goes that he had people, when the protesters were on the bridge, he had them swing it so they were just stuck on there. Whether that's actually true or not, nobody seems to know. It wasn't mentioned in any contemporary accounts. But that would have been right here on the Clark Street Bridge.
Frank Sinatra. If I say swing it, baby, swing.
We do have a couple of contemporary accounts of what it was like there. Here's one from the Daily American, one of our Chicago people. A riot occurred here this morning, growing out of the liquor license question. One man has been killed and 5 or 6 others wounded. A small procession of intoxicated Germans and Irish marched with drum and fife to the courthouse square, collecting a crowd. Now, there's also, downstate in Illinois State Register, the old Springfield newspaper was exceptionally conservative and really quite awful. Here they said, is the Nebraska law, this would have been the new one about Kansas and Nebraska being possibly admitted as slave states, even though they were in the North, any more responsible for the lawlessness at Parkville last week than for riotous violation of the laws at Chicago last Saturday? Last Saturday, in the name of freedom, a mob rose and stifled the freedom of speech by driving an Illinois senator from a public meeting. This is the time that they, here in Chicago, we absolutely laughed Stephen Douglas out of the place. The mob was met by jeers from the Journal and the Free Soil. Not even the lawless example of the Chicago mob is followed. These guys were nuts. But anyway, here's what I think of Levy Boone. Here is his grave. And here's me dancing on it. That's about as good as I can get. We're just going to zip away from here a little bit more. And just to go up about 30 years into the future, this is the Haymarket. Now, this is an area about Randolph and Des Plaines over in the west, what is now the West Loop area. Now, there was a strike going on over the 8-hour workday. A couple of workers were killed by strikebreakers at the McCormick plant. So a rally in their support was held here at the Haymarket. They got a permit. Mayor Harrison came by on horseback, decided it was a peaceable assembly, and told the cops to stand down. But the second the permit for the second that permit expired, the cops started marching towards it, pointing guns at everybody. Among those present was Inspector Fitzpatrick, the future inspector who would be in charge of investigating the H.H. Holmes murder castle, and whose grave we will undoubtedly walk right by tomorrow at Find a Grave Friday. As they started marching, a bomb went off. They never figured out who threw the bomb, but 7 police officers and an unknown number of people who were just there for the rally were killed. Everybody had to break up the scene. They never really figured out who threw the bomb. They never figured out exactly much of anything about this. But they busted in to the Arbiter. This was an office of a German-language newspaper that was ordered to be closed down at the time. And there was one note. It was also a bit of a beer hall. One of the articles later said, "One thing you can say about these anarchists is they never robbed another poor anarchist of his beer. If we really want to frighten the anarchists out of the country, the best thing we can do is close up the beer shops." But you saw what happened when they tried to do that on Sundays back in about 30 years before this. August Spies, one of the anarchists, was known to hang around this place, but more so they were looking into Grief's Saloon at 54 West Lake, not too far from here, which the Tribune noted has long been noted as a headquarters for the most rampant anarchist and socialist gatherings. The saloon was just a part of it. Mr. Grief was said to dispense liquid inflammables. They would get people drunk and turn them into anarchists. It was ordered to be closed down the day after the Haymarket affair. Mr. Grief agreed, but it was generally known that if you knocked 3 times on the side door, you could still come in and have a drink. Eventually, they shut him down again for liquor without a license. So they zeroed in more particularly at a place on Clybourne Street, 54 Clybourne, called Neff's Hall. This was a saloon with a meeting hall attached. That was very common at the time. There were a lot of meeting hall bars at the time. And I can't be 100% sure, but I really think this is the same building that is still standing right here. It looks like it's been expanded on a little bit. I'd have to double check. I remember when I had all the notes for this tour, I had figured out whether this was part of the original or what. It definitely looks very similar anyway. But this was a place that was a popular hangout with all of the people who were eventually arrested, including a guy named Louis Ling, who was said to be making dynamite and was seen in this place the night of the bombing and was seen giving somebody a satchel, which they decided must have included bomb-making materials. So eventually they never figured out who threw the bomb, but 5 people were eventually sentenced to be hanged. And 4 of them were, except that Louis Ling himself was able to get a hold of a little bit of a dynamite cap to bite into the night before the execution. So these guys were eventually given a hero's funeral. Later, Governor Altgeld pardoned them on the grounds that there was absolutely insufficient evidence to have convicted them, especially something like this. Well, you can see the week after it happened, that was a very unpopular decision for Altgeld. He knew it was going to cost him re-election, and it did. You can see some of the newspaper ads. At high noon, the law's stern decree carried out to the full, launched into the invisible, anarchists bitter and defiant to the bitter end. Now, these guys were, when they brought these guys out to be hanged, they were singing songs and shouting slogans, singing Annie Laurie in particular for Bonnie Annie Laurie. Or justice is done. Destroying factors of Republican institutions pay the penalty with their lives. American justice deals malignant anarchy its first and final death blow. Yep, definitely no more anarchy around here. And just something I noticed while I was poking around through my files today, many times I've talked about the trial of Leslie and Carolyn Carter, who was later known as Mrs. Leslie Carter, an actress on stage for years. This is like a week later her trial was going on. He accused her of adultery, she accused him of requesting a certain act that we only describe in more detail on the After Hours tours. I guess theoretically we're all drinking here. It was blowjobs. Just want to cover that a bit. So I guess I don't have any music for this one. So we're just going to fly out a little bit and kind of end on more of a higher note. A little bit low today. I might have to fill it up with some more folk songs. But right near where Kenkel's Beer Hall would have been, that would have been about there. We'll just zip around from there. Past this Walgreens that was part of the Tylenol scare back in the day. Right up around here, right about exactly where Kenkel's Beer Hall was. It would later be a folk song singing saloon called the Earl of Old Town. That was located right there. We can see right inside. I was actually able to walk in, and nobody ever showed up to talk to me when I came in here to film, as I recall, so I just stood there and filmed. You can see there was still a little stage at the back, and over there you can see John Prine, Steve Goodman. What a lineup they had at this place. Just on any given week. Yeah, Bonnie Colic. Jim Post, John Prine, and then down below that is Steve Goodman. But there was an album they put out that showed a picture of what it was like on the inside. You can see it's still fairly similar to what it looks like now. So I was able to get a friend of mine who does some excellent folk songs to give us more of an uplifting tune after that Haymarket story. It's Chris Farrell, everybody.
Come to the border, come to the line. There's a song and a story that speaks of your kind. Then sing with the freedom your trials have earned. A song shall come shining, a voice shall be heard. Some weep for lovers, some weep for friends, and then some cry in silence where the pain never ends. But with every teardrop a wave has been stirred. A song shall come shining, a voice shall be heard. Turn to the music, turn to the light. Bring your ballads back home, your dreams are alright. The darkness is dying, the truth has returned. A song shall come shining, a voice shall be heard.
Did I? Okay, so Chris Farrell, everybody. I did a lot of online hootenannies with him, and I realized that I didn't quite rebuild the tour all the way to the usual time mark, so I'll have to do my own Union folk song. I might have ended the last time we did this with this song. Woody Guthrie was sent to New Jersey when the chorea ate at his brain, and he lay on his back for a decade or more, dreaming of riding the train. 'Cause he traveled all over the country, spreading the truth and good cheer. And when Woody ascended to heaven, he said, man, what am I doing here? He went doorbell ditching at the pearly gates. He rang the bell and ran like hell up at the pearly gates. St. Peter caught up to Woody as he ran through the circles of hell. He said, God is well pleased with you, Woody. You've done the Lord's work well. Woody said, up here in heaven, there's nothing to protest about. But hell is in need of some good old reform, and if you try to pull me back out, I'll come doorbell ditching at the pearly gates. I'll ring your bell and then run like hell. Heaven will just have to wait. St. Peter said, Woody, come sing for the angels. In heaven the hoots never stop, and the boxcars are all filled with pillows, and you never get chased by the cops. Well, Woody said, I ain't no sellout. I won't knock on heaven's door until all of the demons join unions and nobody's damned anymore. Till then it's doorbell ditching at the pearly gates. I'll ring your bell and just run like hell at the pearly gates. All right, everybody. I'm Adam for Mysterious Chicago Tours. Upcoming stuff. We have got boat tours tomorrow. We've got in-person Find a Grave Friday. Just be there a bit before 10 o'clock at Mount Olivet Cemetery down on the south side. We have got Prairie Avenue tours. We've got Patty's tours, Mandy's tours, Layla's tours running all through the weekend. We've got Rosehill Cemetery. A few spaces left on Sunday, including if you come an hour early, you get to meet Miles, who is around here someplace. He was here a minute ago. Until then, everybody, there's a whole lot of good stuff coming up. There's always interesting stuff coming up here at Mysterious Chicago Tours. I'm going to move this on down. And we'll just kind of hang out for a minute like we always do. It's a little bit early today. We got a lot going on. Here we go. All right, yeah, they're both back there. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Cindy. Thank you, Sherry. Glad to have you. Yes, we did get hot dogs tonight, Laura. Everybody, yeah, let's get the crowds back up, Judy. We're gonna be launching a new podcast this winter. We can spread the things around a little bit more. I just gotta make sure we haven't already found this guy tomorrow. Kinda gotta double check there. If so, I'm sure I can find somebody else to look up. Many is the time that I've gotten up in the morning and not known where I was going for Find a Grave. And then sometimes I just find the wildest stories like that. Thank you, Eleanor. See you on the boat, Janice. Yep, new podcast this winter. I might just reveal some details during Mystericon. I've even got a marketing manager. No, I got a marketing manager. Are there enough lifeboats for tomorrow? We do have enough life preservers for everyone. Boats are not really necessary because we're never going to be more than about 20, 30 feet from the shore. With you there, Nicole. But it hasn't really been that hot out. I've been able to wear my jacket. It's all right. There's only been a couple of times I had to go without the jacket the last couple of weeks. Where are Mom and Dad tonight? They're right behind me. Well, no, Pat, we don't want to go into the river, but should we end up in the river, we will have enough life preservers for everybody. They're located at the back of the boat most of the time. Look for a uniformed crew member in the unlikely event of an emergency. But I only book us on U.S. Coast Guard inspected vehicles. We do not want to end up in the river. We will definitely try to avoid that. But if you do, no refunds. Renting this boat cost more than my first 2 or 3 cars combined. Laura, I don't know who the captain's going to be. I really don't. I know our previous guy was about to retire. Or was talking about retiring. Hey, Wendy. Yep, they're all still there. Yeah, being decapitated by bridges is strictly a me problem. As long as you all know to sit down.
Down Harlem Way, they're all trucking. And here's Helen Ward to tell you all about her. Trucking.
Have a good night, Lori. Now, Karen, no. No, do not all plan to stand when we go under a bridge. No. Really, I get so paranoid about that kind of thing. Yeah. Sorry to hear it, Susan. Good night, Judy. See you tomorrow and or Saturday. Thank you, Gene, over on Twitch. Everybody's trucking. Trucking. Now, keep in mind, it is Mount Olivet, not Mount Olive. They're two terribly different cemeteries on way opposite sides of town. We've only gone to Mount Olive a couple of times. We're kind of underusing that one. It's hard to find good people to look up there. Hey, Susan, enjoy. I enjoyed the Hawks, Lisa.
Goodman presents On the Alamo.
All right. Well, all right, everybody. I got to get my parents to their hotel. So I am going to pop off right now. Just to remind you, Mystericon is coming. It starts tomorrow. You all probably know that, but make sure that your friends know it too. Make sure that anybody who's cool knows it. We want to get all the cool people in town. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining me. I'm Adam for the Mysterious Chicago Tour, telling everybody to stay safe and stay strong. And of course, if you can, prepare to be spooky so you can stay spooky. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.